Hello everybody, this is Magic Ice, here with a little discussion video. I've been requested to talk about my thoughts about TPOT 21, but also because I didn't talk about TPOT 20, I decided, you know what, why not talk about them both, because both of them were my TPOT movie experience in the last few months. And yeah, both of them I find pretty interesting, very different as, they focus on two very different aspects of the series. Like, none of them really feel like they overlap in terms of their content. And I feel it's interesting to kind of compare them as not just episodes, but also, I guess, movie experiences and such. And yeah, here's my current tier list. It's a little bit updated since last time I did it in like July. Namely, TPOT 19's up here. I do really need to rewatch TPOT 14. I haven't in a bit. I moved down TPOT 17, TPOT 17, as I just didn't really find it as fun. I don't know, I feel like Bottle I feel like our hosting got a little bit tiresome. I guess the pacing was a little bit slow. Like, when the moments were good, they were good. Like, the pen pencil scene's like one of the best TPOT scenes, absolutely sure. Like, I don't know, maybe I can put it like in really great. Yeah, I'll just put it here, bottom and really great, I guess. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about the episodes of the hour, TPOT 20 and 21. So for 20, I heard a lot of controversy about this episode, like, especially, like, after, I guess, kind of a months and months of waiting between 19 and then 20, and didn't really progress the plot, and then took basically over half a year for the plot to continue from the big cliffhanger of TPOT 19. And 20 didn't really tell us too much. But if I'm being totally honest, I love TPOT 20. TPOT 20, I find a really good episode. Like, I think 1 has such an interesting backstory, and that I feel like it hits that right balance of being both just understandable enough where, like, you can find her emotions, like, understandable. Look, not only have I been in this situation, but I think a lot of Object Show fans have been in kind of a similar situation, especially growing up, where they feel like they're not, like, necessarily, like, overtly rejected by everyone, but they feel like no one really desires to talk to them. No one really desires to hang out. Like, you can be there, and no one really, like, overtly push you away, but they feel like, I don't know, not like super included. And then when you finally discover something cool and awesome, you're worried that you'll no longer be special anymore. You'll just be like, I don't know, everyone would be that way. Yeah, also 1 is like pretty evil, even like here. Like she gets so overprotected about her Yoyolite. Like, she doesn't think to, I don't know, be like teaching others about this, or maybe like absorb most of it and let them have like some of the power, or like, I don't know, even, like, try to find some other niche for herself. She wants to gatekeep this so hard. She decides to ask 3 about it, and of course 3 is like, oh, yeah, I'll totally do it. And they hang out. But even when 3 started to approach Yoyolite, 1 just completely breaks down and gets so... I'm trying to find the exact scene. You know the scene. It's similar to the TPOT 19 scene. You know it. And yeah, and then 3 kind of telling on everyone is pretty big of, like, a pretty big bad thing. I don't know, like, how 1 was so, like, trusting of 3 just completely going back on that. Like, even if she does argue, I'm sorry, I don't remember 3's pronouns, I'm going to use they, them. Even though if they don't know 1 that well, it's still very rude to do that. Actually, I did, after TPOT 20 launched on YouTube, I did watch it with my friend who I yap quite a bit about object shows to him, but he isn't really into object shows or BFDI, but he also really liked TPOT 20. I think just like, it's one of those things where it's like, I can understand both sides of the argument. Also, like, murdering someone, that's kind of too far. And one thing I don't really see people talk about is how, like, it's just how 1 at her first instinct is to completely just this is to completely deny, like, any sort of wrongdoing. But then the second people aren't buying it, she just immediately shifts into like, oh no, I'm actually bad and stuff. Like, of course it might be like her instinct and stuff, but it's still like pretty bad if you really think about it. Like, how much she just completely just rejects any of her actionability in this situation. And of course, I feel like kind of the theme of one's backstory is that just kind of a bunch of people, even though you might not say they're overtly evil, even though I feel like some characters you can maybe make a little bit bigger argument for, they all still like make some really bad decisions that really hurt each other. Of course, everyone being mean to one and kind of like soft rejecting her. Then one finding this huge thing that can improve everyone's lives and hiding it. And then 3 telling everyone about it behind one's back and not even inviting 1 for anything. And then 1 killing 3. And then 4 leading the church to trap 1 in a moon for like ever. It's pretty evil. Especially just how like, I feel like the voice actor of 1 really hits home all of her emotions really well. Like, kind of like, her emotions definitely are so real, even if they're all both over the place and quite a few of them are very negative and arguably not really great to see, or not really, you shouldn't really feel in a lot of ways. Now, kind of the whole thing about where all the objects go, I would say just a little bit forced in that, like, I honestly don't understand why they all decide to split. Like, I know if 1 comes back, she'll try to hunt them all down, but like, you know, I feel like they're all together, then they could all, like, fight 1, then I feel like that would make a little more sense than all of them just scattering. Like, I'd say maybe 4 and X, like, you know, we see a little bit later in 21 where they kind of forget to, and they want to kind of forget all the other Algebranians. But I feel like a lot of other ones, I don't know, it feels a little bit weird. When I do like episodes, kind of flashback to the ending of Post-Split, because the scene with 4 and just kind of all of their development, kind of thinking about 1, does paint this in a pretty interesting light, especially when you consider like kind of the earlier TPOT episodes, especially TPOT 11. There's a lot of interesting things to think about how like 4 is, because honestly 4 is like kind of an evil guy if you really think about it. Like I don't know, I think you need like dedicated 4 analysis, because 4 is such a both inconsistent character, but also kind of argue with consistent character. And it's complicated. But yeah, I feel like kind of 4 thinking about this, now trapping 1 in this moon, yet also still keeping all of these contestants trapped inside themselves. Yeah, that it can be pretty messed up. About kind of being like, even though like you might feel a little bad about it, they still ultimately don't free 1. They don't try to make things better with 1. They don't make anything fear the Exiters. And I feel like with like Pencil and 1, kind of that whole parallel, I think really is really strong in this. And then I don't know, I don't be a personal thing, but I love 1's like sneaking around thing where she just like, how she always like, I mean, of course, like you can maybe argue that she could have the power to just be invisible, but having all of her cameos in the background are just so cool, and seeing how she like observes everyone's, not only their dreams, but like golf balls dream inside a dream, which is a flashback, is crazy. And I also just really like this effect, because we've seen the effect in BFB of contestants entering 4, but I don't know, I just found this scene really cool, of like a representation of just entering someone's mind space. I find that really cool and stuff. And just seeing how like she does get mad at 4 for like still being this way after all this time. I don't know, I just find it really cool, like a bit of consistency with 4's character. Because like, if you remember the BFB, like with Post-Split, like 4 didn't free the characters from the big rotating building. That was the announcer and X doing that. So maybe if 4 was still around, maybe they would object to freeing all the characters there. And I feel like this feeling of like kind of that slow build up to revenge, like that, like I just love this little laugh here. I don't know, I just find it all like, I don't want to out myself as like being a weirdo, but like I feel this way, even though like of course 1's evil and she takes everyone too far because she's the drama queen, yada yada yada. But yeah, I think also I just love how 1 manipulates all the characters to like, because she doesn't like really trick the characters that much. She just like talks them into a deal they just can't refuse. Like, you may argue for some of the characters in, like, I don't know, TPOT 12, where, like, she's like, hey, you want your limbs back, or you want your mouth back? But here, it's like, I will trap you in eternal darkness and make sure you have no friends if you don't sign this. You kind of should sign this, you know? Like, I think the way she talks to everyone's so cool and awesome. And I don't know, I think the aesthetics for 1, like the visual design, the voice acting. I just love it a lot. And of course, seeing how she's the one to change it from 1 to 2 because she sees Pencil and she knows it, I just find that so awesome and cool. She essentially just like manipulates everything in the background to make Pencil kind of feel this way. And I find it really cool and awesome. And then, yeah, the barf pack scene, I guess I'm confused at why she needed barf pack to sign twice. Like, I don't really answer the logic behind that. I don't know. Maybe she wanted Aura Farm. But the Leafy scene's so awesome. If you don't know, Leafy's like my favorite character in the whole series. And seeing her interact with One, seeing One just be like, even though allegedly One did binge watch all of BFDI, which I like the headcanon that after post-split, they archived all the episodes online. Even though I don't understand how the cameraman is able to see everything in TPOT 21. I don't know, it's a little weird. But, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, no, just seeing how Leafy and One are like parallels in the way. How we see in BFDIA, even like the post-hiatus stuff, we see Leafy get all of this, like, kind of this development that mirrors One so heavily, but having all of her friends forget about her, having her kind of rejected by a lot of people, having her like, I don't know, having her desire for friends, yet just seeing how Fiery's compassion is able to make Leafy develop for the better, even though if she's not like perfect, she's still able to kind of get there. I'd say it's just really, really good and cool. While One, is trapped forever, and she doesn't get a second or third or fourth chance like Leafy does, and I think that's really cool. And Pencil going back in time, I find that really cool and awesome. I love the scene here. Of course, her like bullying for kicking on the moon, that's all really cool and stuff. So with 9, we're still unsure what that really means in post-credit scenes, whatever. But yeah, no, TPOT 20 overall, I really like it. As a theater episode, I would say it's a little bit weird as a theater episode because it's mostly a backstory episode. It doesn't progress the plot. But I feel like the stakes of it, like in the background, seeing all this, seeing the amazing visuals, seeing like all the cool graphics and like the character of One, really examine everything. I just love it a lot. I really liked it as a theater experience. I got to meet some really cool people in my theater showing, and I found it really cool. Yeah, so TPOT 20, yeah, it's a lot hard to rank because it's not really it's a non-competition episode. And yeah, I would say I definitely like it more than like actually when I think about it, I'm actually gonna move these down to nearly peak. I do think I feel like these two do have a bit of a gap in their quality. But yeah, like I don't know. I would say I went about 20 above 13, even though all these are really close, even though I do think 10 is by a bit of a margin my favorite out of all the TPOT episodes. But yeah, overall, TPOT 20, I find it an amazing episode. I love the backstory. I love the visuals. I just love so many things about it. And yeah, I'm really happy that I just feel like One's backstory is nailed so well, even though, again, a lot of people are pretty mixed on this episode overall. And while I can understand that, because like, if there was one complaint about this episode, I do think Yoyolite being the source of everything does feel a bit forced with how, like, I don't know, this is BFDIA is like, it felt kind of like just another random little thing for golf ball and tennis ball to obsess over, I don't know, one of those random things. And all of a sudden now it's like the source behind some of those important characters in the entire series. I don't know, it feels like it's a little bit forced, but I don't know. Like, I just really like the character rating. I like One a lot. This episode, I just like a lot. I still think I like BFDIA 13 more in terms of non-competition episodes. Like, I would probably rank it, I don't know, I don't want to rank non-competition episodes right now. My head's a little hurting. But, yeah, overall, I really like TPOT 20. Yeah, sue me if you disagree. All right, now time for TPOT 21. To be honest, after viewing this, I was kind of mixed on it. There's a lot of elements I do like about the episode, but also quite a few elements I don't. And yeah, I would say overall as a theater experience, I didn't like it as much as TPOT 20, although it might just be because, I don't know, theater experience was worse and like the theater as much as quite a bit smaller. But yeah, anyway, for the episode, one thing I do like about it, I do really like the opening. I love the music track here. I don't know if the official music track's up for TPOT 21, but I love the overall, like, the vibe of it, kind of the dark vibe. And it's like, I like how it's not like overtly scary or something. Kind of that dreary darkness of like no one for months. It mirrors the TPOT 11 one pretty well. Or like kind of the montage at the start of the months going by. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing, and I was able to complain about the voting results screen, but honestly, I do kind of like it. I mean, I would say in universe it's a little weird why they're doing it. Like maybe they know the cameraman's there. I don't know, but. I mean, overall, I do like how it's kind of done where it's like, I kind of, as a motivating factor for 2 to kind of get up and start, like, feeling good enough to, like, actually, like, move and stuff. And, yeah. And I feel like best time to discuss it now. Because TPOT 12 had some massive roles to fill. Because not only is it, like, a theater episode, which naturally gives it more higher standards, not only is it, the first TPOT episode in a while, but it's also TPOT episode to follow up TPOT 19, which was such a big cliffhanger for the whole series, essentially, with, like, everything falling apart, essentially. And, yeah, so this episode had to be, like, I feel like a smash in the park, to me at least. Like, this had to be, like, an amazing episode. And overall, it just felt a little too lighthearted. And of course, this is BFDI. It kind of always has to be lighthearted in a way. Like, I would say the least lighthearted episode, least jokey one, probably was TPOT 20 overall. And I feel like even with episode like TPOT 19, there were still quite a few jokes and times I'd laugh at it. Like, I feel like the scene with the force and tennis ball. A lot of the dark, I don't say dark, but a lot of the murder in the episode was pretty, I would say pretty humorous, even though it was like in universe it was dark, but I feel like out of universe it was kind of funny. But essentially, this episode, I just feel like it didn't really have the stakes I was looking for. Like, I mean, I can kind of understand this episode like after like 2 whole episodes of like the highest tension in the whole series, and I can understand like maybe wanted to be like a little bit lower, but I don't know, like, I just didn't really feel too engaged in the episode, because the challenge, like, I do get it, because I have to be a challenge, because, like, Let's TPOT 20 didn't have a challenge, and then before that, BFB 31 didn't have a challenge, and, it had to be a new challenge. I had to find some way to make teams and stuff, but I don't know, I guess I felt a little, like, all over the place, I guess. I don't know. Like, I didn't really like the Bandland stuff. I do love the Deva and Dora interactions, though. And what's like, I do like how this episode doesn't focus at all at one or Pencil, because TPOT 20 already had so much focus on one. I'm honestly okay if we either don't really see one, or we only see her in like very minor things, like at the end of episodes, like going for like 10-20 seconds, really. But yeah, I do also like how it focuses on it's a focus on non-contestants a lot, like Loser and I want to say Fire Jr., but oh my god, to be honest, I don't like Fire Jr. Like, it's crazy that even like I'm starting to like Loser a bit more in these recent episodes. Even Loser was one of my least favorite characters in the entire series, I'm not gonna lie. No, I'm starting to like Loser a little bit more now. I'm saying, their flaws and stuff, whatever. But I just don't find Fire Jr. that interesting whatsoever. I'm sorry. And Lai is another interesting character in this episode, where she definitely feels her most kind of antisocial and impulsive here, which I feel kind of makes sense with like the whole world being completely different and her wanting to explore in danger and stuff. I just feel like it does fit her character, but I just felt weird because it does feel kind of I would say a regression, but definitely a change in her direction compared to what TPOT was going towards. I guess maybe kind of falls a little bit on TPOT 19 with like Black Hole being like, hey, you should restrain yourself less. And also I found it weird the bug scene later on where like she's like I don't know if it's a little bit beforehand. Yeah, like here we're like where it's like she can't. We're like sometimes she can't hold Fire Jr., but sometimes she can. It's a weirdly inconsistent. Maybe they fixed in the YouTube version. No, they didn't. Yeah, maybe it's because Lai has her hands directly on Fire Jr. versus on his limbs, but yeah, I do honestly like Match a lot this episode, where I do think the whole thing about her, like, her knowing that pencil can be better, pencil is better than this, and that, like, there's something wrong with her that Match needs to help her with. I honestly found that really powerful, and I do like that a lot, and I feel like Match has never been a character I liked all that much. Like, even outside, like, I feel like the only time I've really liked her, like aside from this, I would say is, like, probably, like, BFB, the Stairs episode, the episode before she got eliminated. But yeah, I do really like her, because I do think it's a really powerful thing to say, where it's like, you know your friends aren't doing well. You know it's a situation they're like this. They're normally not better than this, but yeah. I really like the joke where, where the heck is the... I don't know if it was here. Yeah. The scene where Golf Ball's like, yeah, I flipped over the sign, yeah. This is joking that how everyone theory crafted what the thing meant, and they all knew, but none of them mentioned it because they just didn't really find it important. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I do really like the Taggy and 2 scene, because, I mean, Taggy's, I guess, kind of the makeshift, like, talk about your feelings character. And yeah, I do find 2's backstory, I do like it quite a bit. I think it makes sense. It resolves the conflict of 4 not knowing who 2 was in BFB 16, even though I'd argue it's a little bit... No, it's a little bit for... Like, it does feel like a thing where it's like the writers in 2020 had a different idea of what that meant versus the writers now, but, like, you know, it has to be done, you know, like, BFDI has always been kind of like this. But yeah, I liked Golf Ball this episode, of course, because Golf was always one of my favorite characters. For an Insectophobe's Nightmare episode, this episode didn't really have that much of a focus on the bugs. Like, the bugs only really appeared here, and they kind of came near the end, but, like, I don't know, it didn't really feel like to focus on the bugs. But yeah, I mean, overall with this episode, also I found the ending... It's like, I know that TPOT does this thing, or kind of also BFDIA recently, where it's like a million things are happening. Of course, every single thing happening in the episode all converges at the end for something. But do you feel this episode, like, at the end felt a little too, like, contrived and everything's happening, even though a lot of other times in episodes that also happens. But I don't know, I feel like this episode just a little too all over the place in terms of the ending. But yeah, I also do really like how Golf Ball dies and Team Dead wins, technically. Like, of course, it wasn't going to be fair if Team Dead was up for elimination, because basically nothing about screen time this episode. But yeah, I just like how the Force doesn't immediately kill Tennis Ball character development or something, I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, overall, it's like, I like a lot of the elements of this episode. Like, I do like the Black Sludge Hearts corrupting everyone, because I do like a lot of the creatures. Like, of course, they're not objects, but also not really animated like the Algebraians. They feel this weird thing that doesn't feel right, and I do really like that. It makes it all feel really weird and creepy, and it does really fit the whole shift in the setting, but I don't really think the tone reflects that. Like, again, I get it, this is BFDI. At the end of the day, this is a silly show for kids and objects. We're talking about, like, a walking match in a North Fights 2, and a character who's a mini little bit of fire. Like, the BFDI isn't supposed to be very serious, I get that. But, like, I don't know, I feel like it should have been a little bit more serious-ish. Like, I get two nosy guys won't do anything unless it's a challenge. But also, like, I don't know, with these characters, I think they should be strong enough to just break open a door. Like, maybe not 2, but, like, I don't know. Like, I think Grassy should maybe be able to. I don't know. Like, yeah, I feel the challenge just wasn't really focused on that much. I feel like a lot of the characters were, like, they were used well, but I don't think all of them, like, interact. Like, I don't think many character interactions were well. Like, I like Lai this episode, but I don't think she really interacts with, like, any of the characters she's with that well. I mean, I do like Price Tag and 2 quite a bit, like, maybe new, Gady, potentially. I do like Grass, especially near the start where he's determined to stay strong after his anxiety attack. Not me mixing up panic and anxiety attacks in one of the most famous Carrie comics, bruh. But, yeah, overall, like, definitely, I don't know how to feel about it still. Because, like, again, individual elements are really good, but I don't know if it comes together well. Also, the new post-credit scene about Fanny. So Fanny's dead, can't be recovered. However, we see in, I think it's, here. We see Fanny's body still here. So this either means that one deleted Fanny in between this happening and the end of the episode, which I've heard a theory that it might be to like some sort of black hole blackmail, which I mean, it could maybe make sense, but also I don't know if one's really in her dimension that much, because like she doesn't really have a reason to hide or manipulate people when she has like all of the power in the universe essentially. And it's just kind of hunting down people. I don't know why she needs to negotiate with Black Hole now. So I feel like the most likely reason is that Fanny just got recovered. Like, I know that might sound weird, but I just think that's the one that makes the most sense. Like, I mean, a cliffhanger, be like, oh no, is Fanny dead or not? Make people just kind of discuss about things in the meantime. But yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, yeah, I like Grassy, even though I feel like Grassy's a little bit, I feel like, yeah, he's trying to be a bit more independent instead of, like, trying to rely on other people. I really like how we actually have, like, for the first time ever, David and Dora interaction. It's like, oh my god, took forever, Jesus. I like how Tapey died. That's funny. But yeah, I don't really think too much else to talk about this episode. Now we get the thing about ranking it. So I think it at least gets above these episodes, because actually, I think I'm pretty similar how we feel about it with, like, I feel like these two episodes, I feel pretty similar in terms of, like, because TPOT 17 has pretty similar, like, I feel like, again, where I feel like the individual moments were great, but I feel like the overall tone was kind of let down by Bottle, and I feel kind of similar right here with how I feel like with, I like a lot of individual moments and the characters, but I don't really feel like it coalesces that well into a single episode. So yeah, I could make a new tier with these two episodes where it's like overall good moments, but I think that's kind of one big issue. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'll put it above 17. I will put it over 12, because I don't know, 12 also feels a little bit of a, I don't know, if I saw 12 in theaters, I wouldn't have been like that high on it, unlike BFDIA 14, which is like top 3 BFDI episodes, honestly. Yeah, so I feel like for now, I feel like that's it. That's it for my thoughts on TPOT 21 and also TPOT 20. So yeah, overall, also as like a theater experience, overall, I wouldn't say it has as good a time, even though, like, I don't know, I think this episode just had that too lighthearted feel where I feel like it didn't really, like I was never on the edge of my seat. I never really had any moments I've really popped off at. Overall, like, I don't know. Like this one person next to me, she was an overexcited kid, and it was nice talking to her a bit, because, like, it's always nice seeing, like, again, these children, like, and I done a whole, like, 10, 15 minutes talking about TPOT 21, how I'm like, but, like, compared to, like, pre-hiatus BFDIA, like, oh my god, these kids these days are eating, oh my god, these kids are having it way too good. Like, we used to wait years for one episode that was, like, 10 minutes. Now those people are getting, like, 40-minute episodes every few months. They're eating way too good. I'm envious. But yeah, that was nice. I got to meet someone else who I also met at a different event. But yeah, overall, yeah, for now that'd be my thoughts. Overall, like, I'm a little down TPOT 21. And I guess I'm still confused on kind of what the direction for the series will kind of go from. Because, like, after getting, two freed from their rotting room for like a year and a half, I think. Has it been like? No, it's been like like around 1 year exactly. Like it's from like 11 months. No, 13 months. Blah, my brain's is mush. I had to watch Iron Lung today. Oh my god. Listen, Iron Lung. That's out a little bit how some of the decisions in this episode was confusing. Iron Lung's like way more confusing. Oh my god. Anyway, stop getting sidetracked. I think that's about it. I mean, overall, I hope the Jack and Jill team has a bit of a vision for what they kind of want to do with this kind of new whole big change up in Teapot, and kind of how they want to incorporate, how they're going to defeat 1 while still keeping it a challenge, while still saving 3, while also the 5 million other character things going on right now. It's a lot, and I understand the team's struggle, and also I just hope they have time to think about it and write about it, because, you know, as much as people complain about episodes taking a while to release, as long as it's still quality and good, that's all I want to hear. Because, yeah, this episode, definitely animation quality is awesome. I like the intro they added in the YouTube release, the stinger, whatever. But, yeah, overall, yeah, good episode, even if it's a little bit of a mixed in certain aspects for me. But, yeah, thank you so much for watching all the way up to this point. When will I make an actual video where I actually edit and stuff? Whenever I have time. Like, honestly, looking back, I maybe shouldn't have even went to the theater release for this. I have a lot of stuff to do. I hope BFGIA 24 releases, if it does release in theaters, releases at a time where I am free for that Thursday where I can go to somewhere and come back to where I'm at right now. So, yeah, yeah, please like and subscribe if you want to see more, hear more. If I have any requests for anything you want to hear me yap about, I will maybe do. I don't know. But yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Also, playlist is the Jimothy Cool Jim background music playlist. I like Jimothy Cool. I like listening to his YouTube Pokemon videos. Yeah, bye.